Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah the Father and Yahusha, our Mashiach, his voice. Hear, O Yasharah, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one Yahuwah. This is Brother David coming to you again to bring you the coronavirus. What an exciting time that we're in. We as the children of Yasharah should have a different viewpoint from the rest of the world. We know that the book says that we have to endure tribulation like never seen before in the history of this world. Well, what about this coronavirus? If you see the chart, it says cold versus flu versus coronavirus. Cold, 4 checks. Sore throat, stuffy nose, cough, sneezing. Flu, sneezing, cough, fever, aches, chills, fatigue, headache. The flu kills 21,000 to 60,000 people per year. In the United States alone. The coronavirus, fairly new. Did you know that this thing started ever since last year? China didn't report it, but it leaked out. The United States of America knew about it. They knew that it was coming, yet they did nothing. Is this a suicide act? Well, it's according to the person who is in leadership. And I've said from the beginning that he's working for Yahuwah, whether you know it or not. He is exposing their wickedness. He is exposing his wickedness. And he's telling you exactly what they really think about you. You thought that you had arrived. But our president today has showed us that we're still a bunch of slaves. Now we're getting close to the slaves' deliverance. You have to endure this tribulation period, brothers and sisters. Who are those with the white robes? The book says it's those who have come through the tribulation period and have cleansed their robes. That is us. Now, I want to show you something about this coronavirus. According to Dr. Sri Kumar Sri Haran, specialist in internal medicine, Aster Union Medical Centre, Karama, there are 7 known strains of human coronaviruses. Did you know that? Did you know that viruses also come in families? Look, 1 through 7. Look at the 7th and the newest virus from this corona family. Novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV, Wuhan coronavirus. Why did they name it Wuhan? That's ground zero. Did you know that the whole Europe is considered to be ground zero for this coronavirus? The European nations. Aren't they the ones who took us into captivity and brought us around the world in ships? Now they're infected. I remember at our Passover supper We were talking about this. We were asking questions. Is there any black people that are infected? At that time, it was only one, and he overcame it quickly. Now you see that the numbers are starting to multiply amongst the Afro-American community. So everyone is at risk. Don't think this is a joke, brothers and sisters. This is a plague, and it's worldwide. Here's the problem. You can't get tested. Why can't you get tested, Brother David? They don't have any test kits. Most of the people who are walking around today, you don't know whether they have it or not. They've given you so many lies. They told you that the person should have a fever or a cough or, some type of flu-like symptoms. Let me tell you something. The person could be infected and show absolutely no symptoms at all. So the only thing that you can do is just to stay as far away from everyone as possible. Who's at risk? Not the young people. The young people are going to be used to spread this virus. But those who are elderly, senior citizens, they're at risk. Those who have autoimmune disorders, cancers, leukemias, like me, we're at risk. My respiratory illness is consistent. This is every day I have to struggle with breathing. So just think if I was to contract this coronavirus, it could be fatal for someone like me. So it's best that I stay away from everyone, correct? But for all of you who have seniors in your family, you have to protect them. How do you protect your seniors? By protecting yourself. Well, what are we supposed to do, Brother David? We have to go to work. They don't have a cure for this. They don't even have a treatment. If you go to the hospital, what's going to happen? You may get infected there if you're not infected already. That's ground zero. They have no test to test you, no bed to put you in, no respirators. So what do we do? Thailand medical news. There are some interesting past studies that have demonstrated antiviral properties against certain common non-zoonotic coronaviruses by some of the isolated phytochemicals from Echinacea. How many of you know of this plant? It is the most powerful natural antiviral that you can purchase today. But it is still too premature to assume anything till more detailed studies are done. I've done a detailed study. Brother David, how could you have done that in just such a short period of time? This thing just came out. I've been using Echinacea for 5 years instead of antibiotics. Look up this term diverticulitis so you can see how deadly and how powerful and painful this affliction is. I used Echinacea to cleanse myself of it. Let's continue reading. However, we are not totally discounting that Echinacea can be used as a prophylaxis. What is a prophylaxis? Your first line of defense to prevent against the new coronavirus. but just that more detailed and concrete studies need to be done before any such claims can be made. Well, nobody can tell you for sure that it's going to keep you from catching the coronavirus. In fact, our editorial teams quickly rushed out, listen to this, to stock up on as much as we could for ourselves and our families through all our global offices, as we are typically guinea pigs for literally every drug that has been mentioned. They were mentioning a lot of the chemicals that they use to try to cure things. They're antibiotics. So these people rushed out and bought echinacea. Why did they rush out and buy it? If the studies are not done, if there's no detailed, concrete studies to make any claims, why did they rush out and buy echinacea for all of their global offices? It was during this stocking up that we discovered something else that made us more curious, as further digging revealed that the same laboratory has purchased a total of 265 tons of the echinacea from Canada and Eastern America suppliers in the last few weeks, causing a massive shortage for supplement manufacturers. Do you hear that? Why would the laboratories buy 265 tons if it hasn't been proven? There's no concrete evidence to make any claims. Listen to this now. Not to mention that they were also buying up processed and packed echinacea preparations. That means, the bottles and the packaged ones that are on the shelves in the health food stores. They were buying those up also. Almost all the prestigious brands like Blackmore, Now, Life Extension, Best Nutrition, Green Life, all reported that they have run out of stocks, except those already in retail outlets, and are unable to replenish stocks due to shortage of raw materials. We only did our checks based on foreign brands, not on any Asian brands which we consider inferior, as many do not contain the correct bioactive ingredients despite labeling them as such. In particular, brands made in Myanmar, Indonesia, and certain made in Thailand brands. Okay. What are they telling you here? Echinacea has some properties. It is your first line of defense against this coronavirus. Okay, what does it do? First of all, it has an antiviral property. If you were to take some of their drugs, their antibiotics that they're going to give you, this has the same properties, maybe even stronger. This is the first line of defense, brothers and sisters. They really have no cure. They never speak about anything that is natural to take because it takes the money out of their pockets. Why did they buy up 265 tons of it, taking the supply off the shelves? What they're going to do is use some of the properties of this echinacea, and they're going to mix it with their drugs and create another drug that they can sell. When you can buy the echinacea pure, has to be pure, non-GMO, you can buy it pure from the stores and use it yourself as your first line of defense. It strengthens the immune system also. Tell me, what drug do they give you that will do that? It has antiviral properties. It is a strong, natural antibiotic, and it strengthens the immune system. No drug that man creates can do those things. Now, what am I telling you? Get out there and get you some echinacea. Try to buy as much as you can, just so that you can have it for your future, because you're going to need it. It's better than taking the drugs that they give you. If you take the antibiotics that man gives you, those same antibiotics that he gives to you, they also treat the meat that you use. That means that it's not going to have the same effect as far as, the antiviral properties, because you're so immune to it already from eating meat. But echinacea is natural. It's from the earth. It's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, as long as men don't get their hands on it to taint it. Now, brothers and sisters, this is telling you something. We are truly in the last days. Revelation chapter 16, verse 17. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, "It is done." What is done? This was the last plague, the last bowl of Yahuwah's wrath that is to be poured out in the last days. Where was it poured out into? The air. How is the coronavirus contracted? Through air, brothers and sisters. What does it affect? Your lungs. Are you understanding? This is the seventh plague, the seventh vial, the seventh bowl of his wrath. Also, the coronavirus is the seventh virus from the corona family. Could that be a coincidence? But Brother David, this coronavirus is not as bad as the flu virus or the cold or all of the other viruses that came before. Why are we so focused on this one? Have you been watching the news? Didn't they tell you that we are at war? At war against what? An airborne virus. Hey, it's global. What's ground zero, Brother David? Europe and Asia. America's coming next. What else happened? The stock market has gone haywire. People have lost their investments, have been wiped out in one day. They're telling them, hang in there, it's going to get better. We'll see about that. What about all the flights? They've been shut down. Food. People are fighting over food. They're emptying out the stores in preparation to be what? Quarantined. They want you to be separate from people. That means no partying. They're talking about they're already closing down the schools. You may not even be able to go to work. How are you going to pay your bills? Tribulation like never seen before. Mass closures, brothers and sisters. The fear that is overcoming the people. The loss of income. And finally, death. This is beyond anything that we have ever seen before. And it's not just affecting the American economy. We're talking about the whole world's economy has gone crazy. Listen to me. After this, the only thing that we're waiting for is the sun to be darkened and the moon not to give its light. And then you will see the voice of Yahuwah coming on the clouds of heaven with great glory and power. Are you ready? This is the last day of our Feast of Unleavened Bread. In all of these years, we've never been on Yahuwah's time. We've been keeping the Sabbaths of the Gentiles, of our captors, of our enemies, but now we're keeping Yahuwah's Sabbaths. We're on Yahuwah's time. We have in our foreheads, because we're in line with him and we're holding to his Sabbaths, we're holding to his feast days, we're holding to his name, we have the seal of Yahuwah in our foreheads. I tell you the truth, there's nothing for us to worry about. This is a time of rejoicing. Just think about our ancestors in Egypt. They knew that this time was coming because the plagues were hitting the Egyptians. They knew it was, their salvation was close. The last plague where they were released was death. Is that going to happen again the same way? It could. Remember your first line of defense. Go out and get you some echinacea if you can find it. Search for it, brothers and sisters. We searched everywhere in our neighborhood, sold out every place we went. So you have to get on the ball right away. Even start today. Go online and look up the stores in your community and see whether they have it in stock. Peace be unto you. Enjoy the rest of your Feast of Unleavened Bread, for our deliverance is nigh. Shalom.